The dim glow of candlelight flickered across the walls of our living room, casting shadows that danced like secrets whispered in the dark. At 36, I thought I had my life figured out. Married to Daniel, our routine as predictable as the sunrise. But there was this burning curiosity inside me, a desire to explore the unknown depths of my own desires. Tonight was different. I invited 8 of my closest male friends over, each one a puzzle piece in a game I was about to play. Daniel sat quietly in the corner, his role to simply observe and document. As the night unfolded, I felt the thrill of the forbidden, the rush of breaking free from the mundane. But as I moved from one friend to another, engaging in ways I never had before, I couldn't help but wonder, what would this night reveal about the true nature of my desires, and at what cost to the life I had built with Daniel? I've always been a woman who knew what she wanted. At 36, married to Daniel, our life was comfortable, predictable, even mundane. But beneath the surface, I harbored desires that were anything but ordinary. One evening, I decided it was time to explore these hidden depths. I invited 8 of my male friends over to our home. Alex, the charismatic lawyer, Ben, the quiet artist, Chris, the adventurous travel blogger, David, the tech genius, Ethan, the fitness trainer, Frank, the musician, Greg, the chef, and Henry, the charming real estate agent. Each of them was a piece of a puzzle I was about to solve. I had a plan, and Daniel was to be an observer, not a participant. As the night began, I instructed Daniel to sit in a chair with a camera. His role was to document everything, but he was not allowed to interfere. The atmosphere was charged with an electric anticipation. The room was dimly lit, candles flickering, casting shadows that danced on the walls. I could feel the tension, the curiosity, the unspoken questions hanging in the air. I stood at the center, my heart pounding with a mix of excitement and nerves. "Gentlemen," I began, my voice steady despite the storm inside me. "Tonight, we're not just here for a simple gathering. We're here to delve into the unexplored, to challenge the boundaries of our desires." I could see the flicker of intrigue in their eyes, the slight shifts in their posture. Alex, always the first to speak, leaned forward, his interest piqued. Ben, usually so reserved, seemed to be sketching something in his mind. Chris, with his eyes wide with the thrill of the unknown, adjusted his camera, ready to capture whatever unfolded. The evening started innocently enough with drinks and laughter, the usual fare for a gathering among friends. But as the night progressed, I felt the pull of my desires growing stronger. I approached Alex, his shirt slightly unbuttoned, revealing a hint of his chest. With a boldness that surprised even me, I leaned in and kissed him there, right on his chest. The room fell silent, all eyes on us. One by one, the others joined us, their curiosity piqued by my unexpected move. The atmosphere shifted. The playful banter turned into something more intense, more charged. Daniel, behind the camera, looked on, his expression unreadable. I turned to Ben, his eyes now locked onto mine, a silent question in them. I took his hand, guiding it gently to my waist, feeling the warmth of his touch through the fabric of my dress. His breath hitched, and I could sense the room's energy change, like a current flowing through us all. Chris, ever the adventurer, was next. He stepped closer, his gaze intense. I whispered something only he could hear, something that made his eyes light up with a mix of surprise and eagerness. He nodded, and I felt his hand on my back, pulling me slightly towards him. The room was now thick with anticipation, each man waiting for their moment, their connection with me. Ethan, the fitness trainer, flexed subtly, his body language speaking volumes of his readiness. I moved to him, my fingers tracing the lines of his muscles, feeling the strength beneath his skin. As I engaged with each of them, I could feel the room's energy shift as the night deepened, and so did my exploration. I moved from one friend to another, each interaction more daring than the last. It was then I made a decision that would change everything. I turned to my friends and asked them to tie Daniel up. There was a moment of hesitation, but they complied, securing him to the chair with silk scarves from our bedroom. With Daniel restrained, I felt a surge of power, of freedom. I continued to engage with my friends, my actions becoming more intimate, more explicit. The room was filled with a mix of tension and excitement. Daniel, unable to move or speak, could only watch as I crossed a line we had never discussed. I approached Frank, the musician, his fingers usually strumming a guitar, now tracing the contours of my face. His touch was gentle, almost reverent, as if he was composing a melody on my skin. The room seemed to hold its breath, the air thick with the unspoken. I leaned in, our lips meeting in a kiss that was both a question and an answer, a dance of desire that left us both breathless. Turning to Greg, the chef, I could see the fire in his eyes, a reflection of the flames from the candles. He pulled me close, his hands exploring, igniting a heat that mirrored the passion in his cooking. Our connection was intense, the kind that could sear through the mundane, leaving only the raw essence of our desires. Henry, the real estate agent, was next. His charm was always his selling point, but tonight, it was his vulnerability that drew me in. I whispered to him, something about exploring new territories, and his response was a smile that promised adventure. His touch was like a soft negotiation, each caress a bid for deeper connection, for more intimacy. David, the tech genius, watched with a calculated intensity. His mind was always racing, solving problems. But tonight, he was solving a different kind of puzzle. I moved to him, my fingers tracing the lines of his gadgets, then his body, feeling the electricity of his touch, a current that seemed to power more than just his devices. The room was now a symphony of whispers, sighs, and the rustle of fabric. Each man awaited his turn, the air thick with the scent of desire and the soft sounds of intimacy. I was unfaithful to Daniel, not once, but with each of the men in our living room. The camera captured every moment, every touch, every kiss. Daniel's eyes, filled with a mix of pain and fascination, followed my every move. As I moved from one to another, the atmosphere in the room was electric, charged with an energy that was both exhilarating and terrifying. Each interaction was like a dance, a silent conversation of longing and exploration. With Alex, it was the thrill of the forbidden. With Ben, a gentle exploration of art through touch. Chris's adventurous spirit promised new horizons, while Ethan's physical prowess was a testament to the strength of desire. At one point, I noticed a tear roll down Daniel's cheek, a silent testament to the depth of his hurt. But there was also something else in his gaze. A flicker of understanding, perhaps, or acceptance of the complexity of human desires. His eyes, usually so warm and familiar, now held a storm of emotions, reflecting the turmoil within him. I approached Frank, whose fingers usually strummed a guitar, now tracing the contours of my face with a tenderness that felt like a melody. His touch was gentle, almost reverent, as if he was composing a song on my skin. The room seemed to hold its breath, the air thick with the unspoken. I leaned in, our lips meeting in a kiss that was both a question and an answer, a dance of desire that left us both breathless. Turning to Greg, the chef, I could see the fire in his eyes, a reflection of the flames from the candles. His hands, usually so precise in the kitchen, now explored with a passion that mirrored the heat of his cooking. Our connection was intense, the kind that could sear through the mundane, leaving only the raw essence of our desires. Henry, the real estate agent, was next. His charm was always his selling point, but tonight, it was his vulnerability that drew me in. I whispered to him, something about exploring new territories, and his response was a smile that promised adventure. His touch was like a soft negotiation, each caress a bid. As the last of my friends left, the room was quiet, the only sound the soft hum of the camera still recording. I untied Daniel, and we sat together, the weight of what had transpired hanging between us like a heavy curtain. His eyes, still red from the tears I had seen earlier, met mine, and in that moment, the silence spoke volumes. He spoke first, his voice hoarse. "I didn't know it would hurt this much." His admission broke the dam, and we talked, really talked, about desires, boundaries, and the nature of our relationship. The air was thick with emotion as we navigated through the labyrinth of our feelings. "I thought I could handle it," Daniel continued, his voice barely above a whisper. "But watching you, with them, it was like watching part of us unravel." His words cut through me, a sharp reminder of the line I had crossed. I reached for his hand, feeling the warmth of his skin against mine, a familiar comfort amidst the chaos. "I didn't mean for it to go this far," I confessed, my own voice trembling with regret and confusion. "I wanted to explore, to understand myself better, but I never wanted to hurt you." We watched the video together, the screen casting a dim glow over our faces. Each moment played back was like reliving a dream, or perhaps a nightmare. Through tears and laughter, we began to understand each other in ways we hadn't before. The camera captured not just the physical, but the emotional journey we were on. Daniel paused the video at a moment where I was laughing with Frank, his fingers tracing my face. "Look at your eyes," he said, pointing at the screen. "There's a light in them, a freedom I haven't seen in years." His observation was both a compliment and a question, a silent inquiry into what this night had truly meant to me. "I felt alive," I admitted, my voice catching. "But at what cost? I've always been the one in control, the one who knows what she wants. Tonight, I realized that control can be an illusion when it comes to emotions." He nodded, his gaze returning to the screen. In the weeks that followed, Daniel and I had many discussions. We realized that my need to explore was not a rejection of him, but an exploration of myself. Surprisingly, he found himself intrigued by the experience, not just as a voyeur, but as a participant in our evolving relationship dynamics. We decided to repeat the experience, but this time, with clearer boundaries and mutual consent. It became a part of our life, a testament to our commitment to understanding and fulfilling each other's desires. Our marriage, rather than being destroyed, was transformed, becoming richer, more complex, and deeply satisfying. As we continued to explore, we discovered new layers to our connection. Daniel, once the observer, now actively engaged in the planning and execution of these nights. He would suggest scenarios, themes, even specific desires he wanted to see fulfilled, not just for me, but for himself as well. One evening, we set up a scene where I was to be the center of attention again, but this time, Daniel wasn't just watching. He was there, guiding the interactions, ensuring everyone felt comfortable and consenting. The atmosphere was different. There was a sense of collaboration, a shared journey into the depths of our desires. Daniel's involvement brought a new dynamic to our explorations. He would whisper instructions to our friends, directing them on how to touch, where to focus their attention, creating a symphony of sensations for me. His voice, calm and authoritative, added a layer of excitement that was both thrilling and comforting. Each encounter was now framed with explicit consent, with all parties discussing limits and desires beforehand. This openness transformed the experience into something more than physical. It was an emotional and psychological exploration. We found ourselves discussing not just what happened during these nights, but also what they meant to us. Daniel would often reflect on how watching me with others made him see me in a new light. appreciating aspects of my personality and desires he had previously overlooked. Our discussions often led to deeper insights into our own needs and the nature of our relationship. We talked about trust, about the beauty of vulnerability, and how these experiences were not just about physical pleasure, but about understanding the intricate tapestry of human connection. One night, as we prepared for another encounter, we discussed our boundaries and desires. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you.